They thought the NFL had finally escaped Aaron Donald's dominance. They were wrong. The three-time Defensive Player of the Year is back at the Rams facility, and his return could unleash a defensive nightmare unlike anything the league has seen. But after 2 years away, can the legend still be the monster he once was?
Maybe the return of one of the greatest players in defensive history for the NFL, and Aaron Donald. I mean, he's worked out at the Rams facility.
Yeah.
He's not shooting this down.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they're shying away from this.
Right.
Ian Rappaport said Donald seems to be exploring this possibility, but would likely not join the Rams until the end of training camp or even into the season.
Well, so I got some stuff to say here.
Okay.
You know, one, Aaron Donald, like you said, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's arguably the greatest defensive tackle of all time. He's definitely in the conversation for the greatest D tackle of our generation, right? So he's that. There's no denying that. So I've been curious too, and I know people with the Rams all over, and I've kind of texted people over the last week and 10 days, and I haven't really got a straight answer, like with anything. And kind of like, I don't know, and some people just didn't even answer back, and it is that time of the year. So I was kind of sitting around and I was going, wait, damn, I have Aaron Donald's phone number. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, this can't hurt.
So I decided to text Aaron Donald. And the first thing I said, because I had texted him not long ago and he didn't respond, and I went, are you mad at me? Right? Because we have some history together. I did the pregame of the Super Bowl. I was on the boat with him for 2 days there out in the middle of the San Francisco Bay and all that. But we knew each other even before that. So I was like, damn, are you mad at me? Because I got worried that when it first came out, I was like, man, that's tough. I mean, I know he's Aaron Donald, right? But I questioned it.
It's been a
little bit like, I got to see it to believe it. It's been 3 years since he's played, right? Am I wrong about that? It's 3 years, correct?
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they lost. They beat the Bengals.
2.
Then the Chiefs won. And then we have last year where the Seahawks won. Or no, the Chiefs won, the Eagles won, and then the Seahawks. So he's missed 3 years, right? I'm correct about that.
He hasn't played the last 2 years.
Oh, it's the last 2 years.
After 2023, he retired.
Yeah, okay, it was 23. All right, so
it does feel like...
I know, but either way, so I questioned it. I questioned that, and I thought, man, did Aaron Donald see that and go, man, screw Sims, I can't believe he's questioned me. So that's how I started off the text message. I was like, hey, are you mad at me? And, of course, he got back to me and said, no, why would I be mad at you? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, guys get sensitive sometimes, and you question them, and they get mad. And he's like, he laughed and, laugh emoji, blah, 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 nah. And we got into it a little bit. And I plain out asked. I said, so what do you think? You're going to give it a shot? And I don't think he'll have any problem with me sharing this. He said, honestly, I don't know yet.
Right, needs a feel.
He said, he just doesn't know yet. And I'll tell you in full transparency, as a guy that likes him as a human and as a friend, I told him, if you don't know yet, then you probably shouldn't do it. That was my advice to him.
That's the answer. You have the answer.
That to me would be I've been around this my whole life. I feel like if you were really that hungry and ready to do it and your body was feeling good and we're getting here close to training camp, this is the time where he'd be like, I'm ready. I want to go back. I'm ready to go. And the fact that he's waffling a little bit to me, just trying to be a good friend, realizing he's a GOAT. I never doubt him. I'm not doubting him. But that would just be my 2 cents, and that's kind of the little conversation we had through text a few days ago, and we'll see where it goes. But I don't doubt anything he could do physically, and I'll be interested to see what he finally does here.
It's interesting because it feels like people are assuming or making the conclusion that if he comes back, he can kind of be this situational pass rusher.
Yeah, right.
So maybe that's where he's like, well, in that role, my body could hold up. I can give you 120% on my... Chris, 15
25
snaps, 20 snaps. Yeah, it's going to vary game to game.
Right.
And, the Rams are exciting right now. Like, everybody's looking at the Rams like, man, the Rams should be in the Super Bowl.
No doubt.
You could argue they should have been in it last year.
Exactly right.
Maybe he's like, man, if I can get another one under my belt.
I hear you. I would already say is your first ballot Hall of Famer in the special room.
You won one.
You won one already, right? So that's where I come away from it. But yes, I can certainly understand him looking at that football team going, oh, man, they might win it this year, and I don't know. I don't want to be on the sidelines watching. I want to be a part of it.
Right.
Down in the NFL, training camps are getting set to start. Some veterans are set to report later this week, and Adam Schefter is here. Shefty, one of the really big stories, maybe the biggest story in the sport right now, the potential return of Aaron Donald. For those just joining us, where are we with that right now?
He is testing himself out, both physically and mentally, to see if he feels like he can get back to being Aaron Donald. Thus, he's been at the Rams training facility going through football drills, which he hasn't done the last 2 years while he's been retired. If he feels like he's ready to contribute in a meaningful way, if he feels the desire to go play again, if he feels he's mentally up to it, he's going to come back. The Rams have told him they'd love to have him back, but it is your decision. And when you're ready, if you're ready to come back, let us know, and we'll figure it out and get it done. And if he comes back, he makes that defensive line that much deeper. They can rotate him in. Doesn't need to play full time. Needs to play in key situations. And it certainly feels like it's moving that way, but it's got to come from him, and there's no final decision, to my knowledge, yet.
So it's a sport where the term super team sort of has a negative connotation rather than in basketball where for a while there, that was how you won a championship. This feels like they'd be putting together a super team. They're going to have questions on shows like this one where we say, is it the Rams or the field in the NFC? And if some dopey talk show host were to ask you that question, in a world in which Aaron Donald does come back, and he's coming back, by the way.
Yes.
Why in the world would he be going through all this?
So why are you asking me?
Well, because I got to fill up a couple of minutes here while I walk from over there to over here. Is it the Rams or the field in the NFC?
I mean, I think the difference between this super team and previous super teams is we've seen proof of concept. This team was great last year. Yeah. So, if they don't get any better than they were last year, they were good enough to win the Super Bowl last year. Then you add the two best defensive linemen of this generation to this team potentially, and Aaron Donald probably not as good as he once was, but still very good. It's a team that's really hard to beat. But it's football, man. You always got to take the field in football. Like, so many things can happen. Single elimination in tournament, even let alone the fact that their quarterback started last year with a bad back and went on to have an MVP caliber season. There's lots of things that can happen between now and the Super Bowl. And in football, you got to go with the field.
I'm not going to put as much thought into it. I'm not going to look at all the variables. I'm just going to look at the roster, and I'm going to say the MVP last year, the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and Trent McDuffie, an All-Pro at cornerback. Yeah. I'm going to say the Rams. Why not? You look at what they have offensively. They're going to put up 30 points a game with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, two running backs they have in the backfield. And now you add potentially two of the best pass rushers to get after the quarterback on the other side. Myles Garrett may break the sack record.
They didn't even need to add Aaron Donald to be considered the best team in football right now. That just makes it all the more enticing and makes them all the more dangerous.
I'm not getting hooked by this. I used to watch Tony and Mike do Tiger of the Field all the time, and we would say the field, and then it would be VJ. No, I'm going with the field right now, and you know why? Because the Rams are going to be in the NFC title game against San Francisco or Seattle or Philly or somebody, and they're going to need somebody to make a play, make a catch, bat down a pass. And the number one asset from the draft is going to be standing on the sideline in a baseball cap doing nothing for them. The football gods don't like that. I think Karma doesn't like that. I think they're going to be one player short. I'm taking the field. I'm not crazy. I'm going to get VJ.
So that was the drafting of Ty Simpson, which I completely agree with you. It made no sense at all. I didn't know they were going to get Myles Garrett.
No, that's like it made sense. But I would say this, the super team concept works in other sports that are less complex than football. There's so many different ways you can take on a team in football. It takes into account the coaching staff. We saw what Seattle did last year. No one would argue that Seattle was the most talented team, but they were the best team in football, and they found ways. And I think that's the question. Of course, you have Sean McVay, who's a great coaching mind, and Shula on defense. That team is well coached, but different variables change these games, and certainly in the playoffs where the coaching steps up.
I'm interested in the teams that are up on the top.
They thought the nightmare was over. They thought the NFL had finally escaped the shadow of Aaron Donald. After 9 seasons of destruction, after offensive linemen were forced to double-team him, after quarterbacks learned to panic the moment he exploded through the middle, Aaron Donald walked away. But now, the greatest defensive force of his generation may be preparing to return. And if that happens, the NFL might have a problem it thought was buried forever. Reports are emerging that Aaron Donald has been working out at the Rams facility, going through football activities and testing whether his body can handle the violence of the game again. And the most shocking part? Nobody is forcing this comeback. Nobody is creating this rumor. Aaron Donald himself appears to be exploring the possibility. But the biggest question in football is no longer, can Aaron Donald still dominate? The real question is, does Aaron Donald still have the fire to become Aaron Donald again? Because this is not a normal player coming back. This is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
a Super Bowl champion, a player many consider the greatest defensive tackle in NFL history, a player who changed how teams think about interior pressure. But after 2 years away from football, can the monster return? But while fans are already dreaming about a legendary comeback, behind the scenes, there is a much bigger mystery surrounding Aaron Donald's decision. And even people close to the Rams don't seem to have the answer. Inside the Rams organization, people have been trying to understand what Aaron Donald is thinking. But the truth is surprising. There is no clear answer. Some people believe he is serious about returning. Others are unsure, because Aaron Donald himself has not made a final decision. After hearing the rumors, one question remained. Is this a real comeback? Or just a legendary athlete testing the waters? Even Chris Sims reached out directly to Donald, and the conversation revealed something fascinating. Donald wasn't angry. He wasn't offended. He laughed off the idea that he was upset about doubts surrounding his return. But when asked the biggest question, are you really going to give football another shot? Aaron Donald gave a simple answer. Honestly, I don't know yet. And that answer created more questions than answers. Because when true competitors return, the answer is usually immediate. I'm ready. I want to play. I'm coming back. But Aaron Donald is still thinking, still evaluating, still asking himself if he can truly become that player again. And that uncertainty matters. Because talent was never the issue. Nobody doubts Aaron Donald's ability. The question is whether the passion, the sacrifice, and the hunger are still there. But maybe Aaron Donald doesn't need to be the same player he was 5 years ago. Because the Rams may have already found the perfect role for a football legend. Here is where this comeback becomes interesting. Aaron Donald does not need to play 70 snaps every week. He does not need to carry an entire defense anymore. Maybe the secret is accepting a different role. Imagine Aaron Donald playing only 20 explosive snaps per game. Third downs, red zone situations, playoff moments. The biggest plays when the game is decided. Because even at 80% of his old form, Aaron Donald could still be more dangerous than most defensive linemen in the NFL. And the Rams understand this. They are not asking him to save the franchise. They are not asking him to prove anything. Aaron Donald already accomplished everything. He is already a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He already delivered a championship. But sometimes greatness is not about proving you are the best. Sometimes greatness is about chasing one final, unforgettable moment. And right now, the Rams may give him the perfect opportunity. Matthew Stafford is still playing at an elite level. The offense has explosive weapons. The defense is built to compete. The Rams believe they can make another championship run. And maybe Aaron Donald is looking at this team thinking, one more year, one more playoff run, one more chance. But adding a superstar does not guarantee anything in the NFL. Because football has never been decided only by talent. And that is where the real debate begins. If Aaron Donald returns, many fans will immediately say, the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC. And honestly, it is easy to understand why. A championship caliber quarterback, a dangerous offense, elite coaching, a defense that could become terrifying with Aaron Donald added back into the equation. But football is not basketball. You cannot simply stack stars and guarantee success. The NFL is unpredictable. One injury, one bad matchup, one mistake, one play that can destroy an entire season. We saw it last year. The best roster does not always win. The best team on paper does not always lift the trophy. Championships are earned through execution, toughness, and surviving pressure. That is why teams like San Francisco, Seattle, Philadelphia, and other NFC contenders still represent a major threat. Because when January arrives, talent helps. But moments decide everything. A fourth down stop, a final drive, a single defensive play. That is football. And that is what makes Aaron Donald's possible return so fascinating.
Because the NFL is not just waiting to see if a superstar comes back. The NFL is waiting to see if one of the greatest defensive players ever still has one final chapter left. Maybe Aaron Donald returns and becomes a nightmare again. Maybe his body tells him it is time to move on. But one thing is certain. If Aaron Donald puts on that Rams uniform again, every quarterback in the league will feel the pressure. Because the monster that terrorized football for nearly a decade might not be finished yet.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.